We're live Thursday. It is the, excuse me, the Rich Lieberman. Is that who it is? Yeah. It's the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse for a Thursday, July 3rd. We're live here on YouTube. If you're watching us live, welcome to the party. And boy, what a party it is, huh? If you're watching on another date, have decided that a tuna sandwich is a lot more viable than this son of a bitch. Welcome aboard. Also, tell your friends, your enemies, your priest, your rabbi, your lawyer, your doctor, your various girlfriends, boyfriends, whomever. Tell them about this crazy site. Tell them about Rich, and that Rich is going certifiably bonkers as he navigates the Bay Area and beyond media world. Now, look, folks, before I get to the main topic at hand, which is thrilling, I only got to say a few things about yesterday's broadcast, which conveniently was a certifiable hit for a Wednesday, a meager Wednesday when everybody's out of town. People are in their car, they're taking the kids to summer camp, or they're contemplating the itinerary for that absolutely magnificent 4th of July. So I was a break in the action, right? Okay. It was a stream of consciousness moment or two or three or four. I was doing shtick, and several of you were just taken aback, and you became psychologists. I didn't know there were so many psychologists and people like that in the area that were concerned about my welfare, for which I take a profound interest in of myself, and to tell you thank you very much, because I did not know. What did I just say? I did not. It sounded like Johnny Carson, for God's. I did not know that. That is some wild stuff. No, I didn't know that there was all these people concerned about my welfare, and that were, just had a side gig and were psychologists, and I'm profoundly gratified that you took the time to write in. Some of you did, a lot of you did, and inquire about my well-being and wish that I get help, and that I, basically seek advice from professionals, of which you guys are professionals. You are trained to deal with psychology and people that have issues, and sit on little couches and talk about their lives and their experiences and daily lives. And I just had no idea that there was so many experts out there, A, and B, that were profoundly concerned about my well-being and all that. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I am enlivened. I am ready to go, maybe do some disco dancing, break dancing, what have you. It was fantastic. So I'm going to get on now with radio days. And I don't talk much about radio lately because we don't have any radio in the Bay Area. We have radio stations and frequencies, and we have just massive proof that terrestrial radio has been dead and is kind of like a corpse. There's still little remnants left, but whatever. Now, I talked to you the other day about the fact, and I talk about KCBS a lot because it is a major station, even in its direct mode. And you got to talk about things like that because people still listen to it, just for the main fact of having a traffic outlet when they're driving to work. They still have those of you that still have the FM AM centrifuge in your car. I may have misused a word, but whatever the fuck, it sounded good enough for me. To hear for traffic report, in between, of course, the 20,000 commercials that KCBS runs, courtesy its parent company, Odyssey. So the other night, was it Monday? Yeah, Monday through now, the morning co-anchor on KCBS, Morning Drive, Margie Schaefer, was in doing the overnight, 12 to 5 or whatever the hell it was. I think she starts at 10, takes a 2-hour break, and then starts broadcasting and delivering the news in between the, again, 5,000 commercials and traffic reports during the overnight. And I thought to myself, well, this is bizarre. This is embarrassing, even by shitty KCBS standards. You have your morning drive personality. And I don't care that she was filling in for somebody that was sick. To add further embarrassment, they couldn't get anybody, I guess. That's what it was told to me. They literally could not get anybody to fill in. Now, this is granted June into July, a lot of people on vacation, even at radio stations that are decrepit, but they couldn't find anybody. So she volunteered, I guess. She told them it's going to be expensive. This is going to cost you quite a bit, and they agreed to pay. But I, for the life of me, cannot fathom a radio station, even decrepit KCBS, run by a complete imbecile who gets to run the station and the one down, well, not officially, but she's on the masthead, KNX. Jenny Seelig, who runs both stations, is the alleged news director and vice president. She's got a big title and all that. Doesn't do anything. Gets by on her, whatever, not reputation, and is allowed to do the imbecilic type of things that she does, which is basically nothing. Any event. So Margie Schaefer worked the overnight, didn't work morning drive, and was left to doing the embarrassing task of working at night. Now, not embarrassing for her. And by the way, I thought she sounded great at night. I don't think she belongs. That's a too strong of a word. I like Margie Schaefer quite a bit, right? Like you, there's nothing like Margie Schaefer and a cup of coffee. But you don't allow your morning drive personality, even though she doesn't have a personality in that regard for radio purposes, you don't allow her to do a shift where somebody is sick, who, by the way, also sucks, is horrible. Somebody named Mary Hughes, who they found somewhere. But you don't let your morning drive personality do, even if it's fill in. That is embarrassing, KCBS. How can you make me laugh further than making me laugh? And you guys think I'm going off the deep end. Any event. She was on for somebody who was sick, and that person is awful too. Mary Hughes is awful. They don't know how to hire mediocre people at KCBS. Mediocrity would be like, batting 300 in baseball. It would be the equivalent of like having, a good Pete's coffee. They now are drinking the shitty coffee that I drink, which is 7-Eleven. Although I've kind of backed off the 7-Eleven coffee. I've kind of gone back to, there's a thing called high wire. And in any event, I've drank a lot of that stuff, and that's pretty damn good. So I know the story, folks. I know there were people on vacation. I wasn't born yesterday, but again, thank you for monitoring my cranium here and my well-being, because I realized that I didn't realize that many of you are psychologists and that you were given the task of doing kind of like a check mark thing with me and analyzing my mental being. You folks, you bought the Patty Hearst stuff? Did you really? Oh my God, you bought that? Whew. I like the people too. This is my favorite. I'm going way off topic, but fuck, what am I going to talk about? Yeah, you're right. Get a life. Nobody listens to KCBS constantly. I get that every day. You're right. You're absolutely right. Um, but we do have traffic and weather together, even when there's no traffic and weather. Okay. I like the fact you are sick. We can't stand you. Or my favorite one is, and then there, you have the internet trolls and all that, and they're babbling away, whatever the hell they're doing. And then you have the people that are, you're a creep. You're creepy. And I'm saying to myself, I'm laughing like, and you're reading this shit though. Why are you reading this? Why are you watching? Why are you taking part in something you clearly detest? Oh, well, we just want to watch a freak show. Well, maybe that was what the intention was, you moron. And then I love the ones too. Rich, we've done this for years and years. We analyze human relationships between a man and a woman. And you're not going to get a woman. Oh, really? Thank you. Jeez. Oh, that's fascinating. Folks, I'm not trying to get a woman. I meet people every day. I have experiences, okay? And when you reach a certain depression mode, it's called clinical depression. That means you get along, you somehow operate within the framework of your own depression. I'm not saying anything revolutionary. Many of you are clinically depressed. You know it. Or excuse me, you don't know it. What that means is you operate, you go to your job, you come home, you have dinner with your family if you have a family, and you have kids that you interact with, even though you yourself are experiencing depression, of which you may not know or you may know. How do I know? Because I'm a clinical psychologist. I just got my degree from Fuck You University. And I just said that I have a license to where I can practice. No, I don't, because I'm not a psychologist. I'm just trying to make the point that that you, some of you, exist even though you have outside forces or even internal forces that are with you, that you somehow get by and you can operate. That's called clinical depression. You survive even though there are things within your mental frame. What is this? What am I? I'm Lou. Welcome to my show. Okay. So there's not much radio left. Did I make some kind of a point? At least I tried to. All right. They're all, and you know what? I want to just say this about Cumulus, how I'm often critical of them and how I told you that they murdered all sorts of Bay Area radio stations, but they did it with style. They can't, how many radio stations, look how many radio stations they murdered and killed. KSFO, there's no longer well, there wasn't really a KSFO when there was a KSFO, except for the old days and all that. But they murdered KSFO. So they botched that. Then let's go down. KNBR is, basically a dead station. It is. They murder that station. KGO, look what they did to KGO, which I predicted when this first shit started happening 15 years ago, that would become a albatross, which it did. Now it doesn't even exist. Even the call letters have been vanished. And now you have KSFO on KGO. So let's do this. We killed two stations, and let's just put this shit that we have now on there. Kind of like a bunch of shit on a radio station with syndicated crap. Most of it is taped. Some of it is just shit that they found, right wing, left, whatever the shit it is. It's shit. So they have that. They killed that. They crucified and killed the Bone. They fired one of the guys from Lamont and Tenelli so they could put this other guy, Lamont, who drives the car, so to speak. He's doing the show from his house now, but they basically killed off that station. And so this is a wrecking crew, folks. Anyway, I just thought I'd make that observation on a Thursday. This feels like Friday. Tomorrow will be Friday, 4th of July. all that stuff. I know many of you are gonna go out and barbecue. Most of you will have spaghetti and meatballs and some fondue, and you'll sit in the living room when you're done going through the fondue and talk about Rich Lieberman's mental health and well-being and say, that guy's a creep. He's really creepy. This is Andy Rooney. Why do they call him a creep? Doesn't seem like a creep to me. Why is he there? What is he doing? But he's not a creep. Hell, he's not even distinguished. He's just kind of there. Yet I wonder why he's been referred to as a creep. This is Andy Rooney. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but they pay me. When I was alive, they paid me a lot of money to do little things like, what do they call it, a prune? Anyway. All right, folks, I will or will not see you later. I have a lot of business to attend to. I have to go check out the Hedda Hopper Film Festival. I've got some things that I got to check out. So I'll see you later. Remember, it's Rich Lieberman, whether you like it or not. The creep, the meek, the weak, whatever. I'm here for your entertainment. And thank you to all the psychologists, once again, who are concerned and showed their absolute sensitivity toward my well-being.